One of the most common questions that I get asked in the comment sections on my channel is, Luke, which is your favourite player's distance iron in 2025, or which is the best player's distance iron for average golfers like us? Well, I thought we could have a little bit of fun over the next couple of weeks by filming a series where we put 7 of the best player's distance irons head to head against each other and one wildcard entry in a little bit of a bracket to see which one comes out on top. And today we're starting off with our first quarter-final where we take our wildcard entry, the Callaway Elyte, versus one of my favourite player's distance irons, the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged. So let's get stuck in, tell you how we're going to score these irons and start hitting the shots. Right, before I start hitting shots, I just want to tell you my point scoring criteria. I'm going to try and make these tests as objective as I possibly can by allocating as many points as possible to the objective TrackMan data that we capture. So we'll be allocating 7 points out of a maximum 10 to the performance of these irons and how they perform head to head against each other. I'll then allocate an additional point based on price, and then 2 subjective points, 1 for looks and 1 for feels and sounds. Now you might have a different set of scoring criteria to me, and you might come up with a different answer in each video to me, but hopefully this will be just a little bit of fun and help aid you with your buying decision as well. Right, let's start the test, and let's start with that Wilson DYNAPWR Forged. Oh, now first one out of the gate is not a great strike at all, but a great test for the forgiveness of this golf club. 110 of ball speed, 154 of carry, 162 of total off of a Healy strike that's been pushed down the left. 5.4 of spin because of that strike and because of the direction that I've hit it in. But launch angle's a little bit low, peak height's a little bit low, and land angle's a little bit low. I expect them to all creep up as we hit a few more shots and hit it a little bit better. So much hang time there. Don't think it's necessarily the best strike in the world or the longest strike in the world, but definitely better than the first one. Maybe I'm wrong, because that is all you want to see out of this golf club. 111 of ball speed, carrying at 157.3, totaling 165, so stopping just under 8 yards, 5,000 of spin, 23 of launch angle, peak height over 100 feet, and landing above 50. Magic, magic numbers, second shot in. Every time I pick up this club and hit it, always enjoy the feel of it. It's definitely amongst the best feeling players distance irons available on the market right now. Really is up there for me in terms of feels with the TaylorMade P790 in terms of feedback, and in terms of the Mizuno irons. It definitely has a softness to it. You can feel ball and club coming together, all those good characteristics. Massively corrected from the last one. Definitely going to be interested in the numbers there, because that could be long. Oh, it's huge. Look at that, 114 of ball speed. I'm doing 2 of the quarterfinals here on the same day. That might be the fastest ball speed that I've seen so far. 163 of carry, 172 total. Because it's a slight pull draw, that's obviously why all those numbers are up, but I've hit shots similar with other clubs today. Launched 20.6, would like to see it a little bit higher, but again, this quality of the face and path there's dictating that. 97 feet of peak height, land angle 48. I've caught that a little bit heavy, I think. It's still in the air so long. So long. Look at that, because I've caught it a little bit heavy, we've lost a bit of ball speed, 107. Still carried at 154. I would always say my 7-iron number is about 154 on a good strike. 163 total. Spin lower because of that heavy strike, 4.6. Launch has gone up a little bit though to a number I'm comfortable with. Still above that peak height of 90 feet, landing at 47. Oh my, that's such a golf shot. If I could package that up and have it every time on the golf course, I would. Such a good golf shot, and then the club responds by feeling great with it as well. And look at that, it's slightly higher up on the face. Yes, it's a fraction towards the heel, but 112 of ball speed, 164 of carry. Spins a little bit low, so maybe it wasn't not as, quality of strike was maybe not as good as I thought it was, but it just felt absolutely fantastic. 99 feet of peak height, landing at 48, launch at 22. And that is one thing I really like about these irons. It's going to give them a really good chance as they're going through the bracket. Obviously see if they get through this one first, is they just feel great. When you hit a good golf shot with it, you just get that feeling and that feedback off of them that I think you want to feel out of your irons, and that is absolutely awesome. Oh my God. And then it gives you the confidence to do that one, which I think is a better strike. So good. Strike's almost the same place, almost identical. 112 of ball speed, 162.4 of carry, huge distance with this iron and competing with some of the other irons that I've tested so far. 172 total, 4.6 of spin, 21.7 of launch, 99 feet of height, 48 degrees of land angle. My first impressions, and I think I said this maybe when I reviewed this iron, I don't think it's going to be the longest player's distance iron, although it is long. I don't think it's going to be the highest spinning, but it's not the lowest. And I don't think it's going to be the highest ball flight, but it's also not going to be the lowest. It just seems to be that perfect sort of middle of the ground all-rounder that then looks absolutely stunning down at address and feels incredible too. God, that felt great. Felt really, really nice. It's outrageously huge. So long when I get it absolutely nice. 114 of ball speed, 166 of carry, 175 total. Spinning has actually crept up there at 4,700, launch at 20.5, peak height 98 feet. Very, very consistent in terms of its launch height and land angle in this batch of shots so far. That's very, very impressive. My delivery there, incredibly neutral. Oh, it's a beauty to finish. Absolute beauty. If I'd hit that on the golf course, I'd be very happy. And there's the reason to be. 111 of ball speed, 160 of carry, 48 of spin, 21 of launch, 95 feet of peak height, 48 degrees of land angle. A really good batch of shots with the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged, reminding me why I liked it so much. But let's now swap over to that wild card, the Callaway Elyte, and see how it compares. So this is a wild card because it's not a player's distance iron officially, but it sits somewhere in the middle between a game improvement and a player's distance. It looks more like a player's distance iron, and when I tested it, it performed like that, but did seem to have a little bit of extra forgiveness. So let's see how it performs today, again, second time out, and how it compares to that Wilson. It's a lovely strike. I've just left the face open on it, so the path's going to be out to the left hand side, so from the inside for me, and then just left the face open to it. But again, that's the forgiveness that you get with this sort of hybrid in the middle club of 112 of ball speed, carrying at 157.1, totaling at 164.7, spinning at 5.3, which is seriously impressive, launching at 22, peak height of 100 feet, landing at 49. There we go. Beauty. Beauty, that one there. 111.5 of ball speed, 159 of carry, totaling 166.9, 4935 of spin, launching at 22.7, 104 of peak height, landing at 50 degrees. Little bit thin that time, gone from heavy to a little bit thin, but it feels like it's a really good strike and it's going to be some good numbers. Oh, it is. 113 of ball speed, 160 of carry off of a slight thin strike, rolling out to 167, spinning at 5238, launch angle 22 degrees, peak height 104, land angle 50 degrees. Tiny little baby cut there, just started left and maybe cut a couple of yards left. Probably going to be good still. Yeah, 109 of ball speed, 158 of carry, 168 total, spinning at 4.5, 22.5 of launch, peak height 97 feet, landing 48. In terms of feels, like I say, apart from feeling very lightweight, the combination of shaft and head there, which is something, again, some of you might like, it does feel nice off of the face, definitely one of the nicer feeling irons. I've got a feeling, I'll have to hit another one because I filmed the AI 200 quarterfinal tonight as well, but I think it might feel softer than that, which I'll try and just validate after this next good shot. Just a touch heavy, but yeah, it definitely feels softer off the face to me, and certainly closer to that Wilson. It doesn't feel as good as the Wilson in my opinion, but it definitely feels softer than something like the AI 200 or a lot of the other forged irons on the market today. 107 of ball speed, 156 of carry, 4049 of spin, a little bit low, a little bit heavy on my part. Launch is okay, height's a little bit lower, but still good. Land angle still okay too. It's the best strike here. I've just, again, left the face. That felt quite neutral to the path. It'd be interesting to see what it does there because it felt like quite a straight shot. 111 of ball speed, 156 of carry, stopped quite quickly after 7 yards, spinning at 5.2, launching at 23.5, peak height 107 feet, which is outrageously good, land angle 51. Much better. Controlled the face, so much better that time. Little baby draw, gonna be good numbers I think. Yeah, 111 of ball speed, 159.6, 168.7 total, spinning at 4.7, launch angle above 22, just under that magic 100 feet and landing at 49 degrees. Really nice flighted one to finish, dead down the middle. Quite a straight shot. Let's see what we've got out of it. 109 of ball speed, 158.5 of carry, 169.1 total, spinning at 4326, 22 of launch, 94 feet of peak height, 47 degrees of land angle. Right, done hitting shots with both the clubs in this quarterfinal. Let's go home, dissect all of that TrackMan data and start allocating these points to work out which one is going to go through to our semi-final. Right, time to deep dive into all of those data sets and then give you my scoring at the end and declare our winner. Now, starting on the left-hand side, what you'll see is that the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged was a slightly faster golf club in this matchup, delivering 1.1 mile an hour more ball speed off 0.3 mile an hour more club head speed, and therefore a marginally higher smash factor. However, I do think the numbers are so close and both are very good numbers for me that I think we can consider this section a draw. Just to bring to life my strike location for you on the day, you can see it was very, very similar and very consistent with both irons, making the rest of these data sets very, very comparable. Spin rates were also near identical, with the Callaway Elyte spinning only 33 RPM less on average at 4716 RPM versus 4749 RPM with the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged. So again, I think we have to say that this section is a draw. It is worth noting this is right in the middle of what I would consider to be a good number for me. Anything below 4,500 would be low, and anything above 5,000 is a very good number in my hands. Again, we do have two very similar data sets when comparing the ball flights. Just like the Wilson edged the ball speed and the spin rates, I think this time the Callaway Elyte just does edge this category ever so slightly. It delivers 0.9 degrees more launch angle, 1.9 feet of additional peak height, and 0.6 degrees steeper land angle, which off of a stronger loft was very impressive. So I'm going to give a little bit more of a half a point extra to the Callaway in this section here. Just to bring that to life for you for my shot trajectory, weirdly when you do go into the TrackMan app, sometimes it flips the colors over on this section, which is what it's done here. So the Wilson DYNAPWR in this one section is shown in red and the Elyte in the blue. So when it comes to distance though, the Wilson DYNAPWR is longer, which again, considering it had the weaker loft, is impressive. It carried 2 yards more on average at 159.7 versus 157.7 with the Callaway. However, the Callaway Elyte, due to that slightly stronger ball flight, does stop a touch quicker at 8.9 yards versus 9.3 yards with the Wilson. So I think we can call this section a draw as well. Final thing I want to show you is my shot dispersion here. I think you can say that left to right, it's very, very similar with both these irons, but a little bit tighter front to back with the Callaway Elyte. So as we head into the table, you could be forgiven for thinking that the Callaway Elyte in terms of performance is maybe just half a point ahead, but the final overlay we need to add to this part of the test is the forgiveness of these two irons. And the way that I've decided to objectively score those is look at how many shots it took me to get my 10 shots that we've just used in the data set. And the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged, I only had to take 12 shots to do that versus 14 with the Callaway Elyte. Now I have filmed another quarterfinal on the same day as this one, and the DYNAPWR Forged was the smallest data set out of all 4 irons that I tested on that day, so I do think it's an incredibly forgiving iron, and it's for that reason that it's managed to sneak a draw in my opinion, and both of these irons are scoring 5 out of 7 in terms of their performance. When it comes to feels and sounds, again, this will be slightly subjective, but I do think the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged is definitely one of the best feeling players distance irons available on the market right now. It's maybe not as good as the TaylorMade P790 or maybe even things like the Mizuno JPX925 Forged, but I certainly think it can keep up with things like the Titleist T200 and is definitely in that top 3 or 4 in terms of feels, and I really do like the sound of it as well. The Callaway Elyte does have a little bit more softness to it compared to other Callaway irons, and that's why I'm still giving it half a point, and I wasn't offended by the sounds either, but you might see this slightly different to me, but I do think this Wilson does feel a little bit better. In terms of looks, the most important thing to me is down at address, and I do prefer the Wilson down at address. It just suits my eye a little bit more. However, I do think in terms of when these are in your bag, because you've got the visible technology on the Wilson, I do think more people would pick up the Callaway Elyte and prefer the overall looks of that iron ever so slightly. So I am going to give the Wilson DYNAPWR half a point because down at address is the most important thing. But overall, I do think the Callaway Elyte is a really nice looking iron, and I definitely think it's worth getting the win in this section. Now the final thing we need to overlay is that objective price point. Now the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged is going to have an advantage over every other iron in this bracket because it's the cheapest iron at £699 in the UK for 5-iron to pitching wedge at the time of filming this video. The Callaway Elyte, if it was against any other iron in this bracket, it would have won this section because it's only about £899. But it is more expensive than the Wilson, and therefore I am still going to give it half a point because it is a fantastic price point, but like I say, it just can't compete with the price point of the Wilson. So when we total all that up, what have I come up with in declaring my winner? Well, I do think this is incredibly close, and I could totally understand if someone watched this video and went slightly the other way, but I've given it ever so slightly to the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged. Both really fantastic irons at great price points, but if I had to buy one of these tomorrow, I would definitely opt for the Wilson, and therefore I think it's right that this one does go through to the next round. So congratulations to the Wilson DYNAPWR Forged on getting through to the semi-finals. Make sure you stay tuned to watch the rest of the quarterfinals on my channel to see who it will be up against. Now, if you've got some value out of this video and you'd like to return the favour, all you need to do is hit that thumbs up button. That lets YouTube know that golfers just like you may be interested in watching my video. Equally, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, hi, I'm Luke, the Weekend Tour Pro. You can join people just like Dirk from Hawaii, who's recently subscribed to the channel. It amazes me that I have supporters on the other side of the world by hitting that button on screen right now, and you'll get notified of all my videos as they land on YouTube every single week, including the rest of those quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals. Equally, if you think you may be interested in watching another one of my videos right now, there's a couple of options personalized for you popping up on my screen right now. If you press one of those, you'll be taken to it straight away. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.